Hello everyone, this is Jimmy Cultist, back again with another video, and today we're covering the subject of gliding, how to make a character glide. This was requested by an audience member. Specifically, they were thinking of the Arkham Knight games or something. I'm not super familiar with those, but I know what they're talking about, rest assured. Now, I've already tested it, and I have it on the side here as a reference in case I forget what I'm doing. You know, that occasionally happens. But first, we're going to set the basic parameters of our puppet. 25% acceleration and deceleration. 100% jump height. Speed. 4. I should say run speed for 0.0 and 0.8 for walk speed. And that should do nicely. Now all we're gonna need is a little, what do you call it? Chip. We're gonna call this glide. Inside this chip, we're going to stamp down one of these action recorders, and we're going to set it to keyframe mode. Basically, we're going to turn off procedural walk and procedural animation. Also turn off auto look, but not while in the keyframe. And turn off motion sensor movement. Then we're going to go in here and turn off puppet interface. And we're also going to turn off jump animation. And just leave that right there. Next, we're going to need a button to trigger everything. We're also going to need, what do you call it, a calculator. Set it to less than, I believe. Oh, apparently greater than. Greater than 1.25, I believe. And we're going to stick it in the node. And I'm going to explain what this does. And we're going to have our glide button be R1. Then we're going to go in here to the puppet interface. We're going to leave this one active. Because procedural animations are turned off, none of these things are going to be active, but we can still use this puppet interface to our advantage. So, we're looking at distance from ground, okay? And this is going to measure the precise distance the puppet is from the ground, of course. It's sort of self-explanatory. But the reason why we want this is we want you to not be able to glide when you're touching the floor. It's like a, you know, like when you get too close to the floor, you automatically break out of the glide. Or you can't begin gliding until you've left the floor, you know, like a certain distance from the floor. And we're going to connect this to the power of the glide button, but first we got to mess around with some other stuff. Now over here, you'll see all this intricate doodads I created. We're going to put them inside the chip. We're going to call this gliding stuff. First thing we'll want is a camera. Basically all this will do is act as a camera, you know, for our puppet when he's flying around. Keep things focused on him. And I think we can leave it to transition, just make it really short. Smooth transition. We'll hide IBs just in case. Oh, another thing I want to do We're going to turn forced possession on, and we're going to delete this cable leading into depossess because we won't really need it. Now, what's the other things we're going to need? Oh yeah, we're going to need 3 times the graphics. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to need the first-person puppet. You're like, well, Jimmy, why do you always take this? Because it's so good. The way they mapped out the signal manipulator, I think it's called. Basically, I'm just taking this thing, this signal manipulator mapping. I don't know how they did it. I tried to replicate it, but it's very difficult. But I just go in here and take this, and you're like, well, Jimmy, you've already got it on the old puppet. Why don't you just copy it out? Because people may not know how to do this. You know, where to go and what to stamp. So I'm just going to copy out these things specifically, see? Gonna stick them in here. And this is basically our ability to turn left and right, yawn, if you will. It's going to be hooked up to the right stick, which basically controls the camera ordinarily. And it's going to be local. Right stick local goes straight in there. And you really are going to want this. Also, don't bother making it, what do you call it? Local space. I don't think that'll really be necessary. We'll see. Maybe that'll work out. We aren't really going to need this. Oh, and we're going to need these items. I'll just get to that. And to explain what those are, when you're in the sky and you're gliding, you're going to be, you know, nothing glides forever, and usually the height dissipates. So we're going to take a mover and set it to local space. Move this up. Move this so that it's facing forward. Y up. X forward. And we'll leave it at 5.5. I think that's good. And we're going to slightly turn it down so that you're losing, you know, you're losing height gradually if you're not doing anything at all. This is basically your neutral setting when you're gliding. And we're just going to take a node, hook it in there. And this here is going to be our pose. Oh, speaking of which, since we're done with the first-person puppet, we can delete it. Let's get our neutral pose set up, though. I'm going to go ahead and delete these. I mean, just press triangle on them. Don't actually delete the feet. This is going to be our neutral glide pose. Now, this may not look as, what do you call it, cool as it does in the Arkham games, because, you know, this isn't Batman, this is a blank puppet. And he doesn't have any wings. If you ever want to make a 3D remake of Bubsy the Bobcat, I guess this is how it would look. But anyway, this is the basic pose for gliding in a neutral stance. And as you can see, if we look over here, we've got this little knot gate hooked up. So technically, you know, I was wrong in connecting these. What we're going to be connecting is the knot gate. So as soon as this chip is active and there's power in it, it's going to instantly default to the basic pose. And we're going to put some slow power up on it. And now we're going to go in here. And this is basically when we operate the right stick. This is the up and the down, or the Y strength. Y and X, or whatever, I think. So when we press up, this is going to be activated. When we press down, that's going to be activated. We're just going to go ahead and copy out this keyframe real quick. This is going to be a gliding down motion. And we're going to go ahead and copy this again. These may be reversed. There's like a thing in programming where Up and down are technically reversed. It's like a weird aspect of it. I don't remember exactly why that is. There is something like that, though. It's like they're reversed in polarity due to some kind of programming, you know, thing. Anyway, I'm sure someone who's very bright can tell me what I'm talking about. It's like negative 1 is actually positive 1, or something of that nature. Anyway, doesn't matter. Next thing we're going to need is something that alters your speed and trajectory. So when you're going down, we're going to want it to push you down faster. I think 8 should do. And when you're going up, we'll want it to push you up. Only a little bit, though, and slower. You don't want it to be too much, because the glide, you know, it'll get kind of ridiculous. I'm also going to add a little timer. This is technically something I didn't do in the original. But basically what this timer is going to do is it's going to create a system where when we glide up too long, we're going to start to glide down, like we're losing momentum. So we're going to go to timer finish. Alright, that should do it. And the keyframe is good. And we're also going to have a NOT gate so that when we're not active, we reset on our little timeline. And we probably can, you know, slow down the speed a little bit. Make it shorter. Alright. Now I think we're ready. There's probably going to be some reversing here and there, because like I said, it's usually the case. It seems to be working. Now the approach we've got with the ground might be different. Let me check out the settings. 0.85 is actually better. It's less sensitive, because we clip out of our flight just a little too fast, in my opinion. We're also going to kind of take the slow power down out a little bit. Change the slow power down, that's just it. We're also going to increase the speed of the upward draft because it's going to quickly decrease anyway. As you can see though, this is pretty much like an Arkham Knight sort of thing. We're going to make the time on that just a little bit less because it's kind of clipping out way too early. We're also going to I want to make this a little bit more of a stark upward. You know, we can get a little bit more glide than that. I don't think we have to have it that low. And of course, we're going to have to modify the descent a little. Oh, we don't have to modify it at all. It's actually pretty pleasant. Also, let's make this labeled so that we know what we're doing. Alright. And we automatically come down out of it and everything. Now it's true you can't really glide when you're directly on the floor, but when you jump off of a cliff, there you go. You're a gliding maniac. That's pretty neat if you ask me. Now there is a thing where when you're in a bottomless pit like this and whatever, if you have like a really big city you want him to glide around, I really might advise going into the global settings and go to adjust fall height and make it like, you know, really high, max fall height, you know, stuff like that, just so he can survive some bigger stuff. And possibly you could have a system where when he's not gliding, he can be hurt by falling long distances. But yeah, that's pretty much, you know, that's a system by which you could make a gliding Batman. And it's relatively cheap thermo-wise, too. And it's fun, too, actually. I like playing around with it just in create mode. And there's little stuff you could add, you know, you could kind of add some wind strokes, you know, on his arms or something. There's lots of stuff you could do to improve it. But anyway, hopefully you found this helpful. We're going to give a quick shout out to our monthly supporters on Coffee. There they go. It's because of them that we eat. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss another video. If you wish to support our earnest insanity, you can check the links in the description to donate or buy merch. Until next time, goodbye.